Before the Book of Enoch was erased from history, it carried a warning that still shakes the very core of humanity. Hidden within its pages are lost secrets, forbidden knowledge from the stars, truths so dangerous that ancient leaders decided humanity was not ready to hear them. Why was this Book of Enoch locked away, buried, and silenced for centuries? Was it because it exposed the fallen angels, the Watchers, beings who descended from the heavens bringing wisdom too powerful for mankind? Or because it revealed the birth of the Nephilim, giants born from the union of angels and women, a bloodline that threatened the balance of creation itself? Ask yourself this: what if the secrets of the Book of Enoch are not just myths, but eternal truths about our connection to the universe? What if the forbidden teachings on astrology, metals, magic, and war were never meant to be destroyed, but meant to guide us into understanding the mystery of our own soul? For thousands of years, the world has been told to forget these mysteries, but forgetting has cost us our strength. Forgetting has cost us our light. In this video, we will unveil what the Book of Enoch truly says about the Watchers, the Nephilim, and the forbidden star knowledge that was hidden from mankind. You will discover why the fallen angels shared forbidden wisdom, how the giants nearly destroyed the earth, and why ancient texts compare these beings to extraterrestrial visitors. We will connect the dots between ancient scripture, UFO theories, and the mysteries that still haunt our skies today. As you listen, open your heart. Let these words heal and empower you. Let them awaken your curiosity. Do you believe the secrets of the Book of Enoch were meant to protect us, or to keep us blind? Comment below what you feel, because your voice matters in this journey. And if this message touches something deep inside you, subscribe and like this video so that together we can continue uncovering the mysteries that were once forbidden. The Book of Enoch is more than just an ancient manuscript. It is a mirror of our greatest fears and our deepest hope. And tonight, we are about to open it. Enoch, the man who walked between heaven and earth. Imagine a man so close to the divine that death itself could not touch him. That man was Enoch, the seventh from Adam, chosen not because of power or armies, but because of his purity of heart. While others lived and died in the dust, Enoch walked with God. He was taken, lifted beyond the veil of this world, carried into realms where human eyes had never seen, where stars pulsed with secrets and angels whispered mysteries of creation. His story is not just ancient history. It is a mirror, showing us that even in a corrupted world, a single soul aligned with the light can rise above the shadows. The Book of Enoch tells us that he was shown the hidden chambers of the heavens, the movements of the stars, the mysteries of time itself. This was not simple faith. It was a journey into cosmic knowledge, a wisdom that bridged heaven and earth. Imagine walking under the night sky, gazing at the constellations. But instead of wondering, you are given the keys to understand their design. That was Enoch's gift. His life reminds us that true greatness is not measured by what the world applauds, but by what eternity reveals. Think about this in your own life. How often do we chase after things that fade while forgetting the deeper calling of our spirit? Enoch shows us that when we choose righteousness, when we tune our hearts to the higher voice, we too can rise beyond the ordinary. His path was not one of fame, but of faith. That is why his testimony still burns with light thousands of years later. If Enoch could transcend death, then what chains in your life might be broken if you dared to walk closer with the eternal? Comment below. Do you believe a person today could walk with the same closeness, the same light, as Enoch did? But Enoch's story was not meant to be kept hidden. He was not only a witness of light, but also a scribe of secrets, a recorder of knowledge that would terrify kings and challenge the order of heaven. The Book of Enoch is not just a story of one man's holiness. It is the unveiling of a cosmic drama, one that begins with the descent of beings from the stars themselves, and that leads us to the Watchers. The Watchers, guardians from the stars. The text tells us of the Watchers, beings sent from heaven to guard and guide mankind. But instead of remaining faithful, their eyes fell upon the daughters of men, and desire was born. They were not weak creatures. They were powerful, radiant, mighty as the heavens from which they came. Yet their fall was not from ignorance, it was from a choice. They exchanged eternity for passion, exchanged obedience for rebellion. The moment they touched the earth, the destiny of mankind shifted forever. These fallen angels brought with them forbidden wisdom. They taught humanity the secrets of the stars, the movements of the sun and moon, the crafting of weapons, the use of metals, the enchantments of magic, and even the power of beauty to seduce. To a primitive world, this knowledge was like fire. It could build or it could destroy. And so it did both. Think of a child handed a blade. Without wisdom, it cuts not bread but flesh. Humanity, unready for such revelations, spiraled into violence and corruption. The result of their union with humans was the birth of the Nephilim, the giants, beings of terrifying strength, who devoured all that lived. The earth was drenched in blood, and creation groaned under their weight. This is why the Book of Enoch is so haunting. It shows us that forbidden knowledge, when given without wisdom, does not liberate. It enslaves. Even today, we face the same temptation. Technology advances, knowledge expands, but without morality, it becomes a curse. Think about genetic engineering, weapons of mass destruction, the manipulation of human nature. Are these not echoes of the forbidden secrets once given by the Watchers? Yet, there is another layer. Some read these stories not only as spiritual allegories, but as cosmic truths, that the Watchers were beings not only angelic, but perhaps extraterrestrial, visitors from beyond the stars. How else could they know the heavens so precisely? How else could they bring sciences beyond their time? This is why the Book of Enoch continues to fascinate. It bridges the realm of faith with the mysteries of the universe. Were these Watchers fallen angels, or ancient astronauts cloaked in divine imagery? The lesson remains timeless. Knowledge is never neutral. It carries light or darkness depending on the heart that wields it. The Watchers failed because they used their power to satisfy themselves rather than uplift humanity. And their punishment was severe. They were bound in chains beneath the earth, awaiting judgment, their once brilliant names now symbols of ruin. But their story warns us even now. When we hunger for wisdom, we must ask, is it wisdom that heals or knowledge that corrupts? This is the power of Enoch's record. It calls us to look within and choose. Do we rise like Enoch, walking with the eternal, or do we fall like the Watchers, consumed by our desires? The next part of the journey reveals the price of their rebellion, the rise of the giants, and the flood of chaos that nearly ended mankind. And that is where the story turns darker still. Forbidden knowledge, the secrets that should never have been given. The Book of Enoch paints a picture both mesmerizing and terrifying. The Watchers did not arrive empty-handed. They came bearing knowledge that humanity had never tasted before, secrets that glowed like fire in the darkness. They taught the hidden sciences of the stars, opening mankind's eyes to astrology and the movement of heavenly bodies. They revealed the use of metals, forging weapons sharper than bone or stone, instruments of power that could decide life or death. They whispered enchantments of magic, spells that bent unseen forces, weaving illusions and control. They unveiled the art of beauty, how to craft jewels and ornaments to inflame desire, how to turn charm into manipulation. For a moment it must have felt like a gift. Imagine standing in a world of shadows and suddenly being handed light, but that light burned too hot. Humanity, still young and unready, embraced knowledge without the wisdom to use it. The Book of Enoch calls it forbidden, not because knowledge itself is evil, but because timing matters. Truth given before maturity is poison. It is like giving a sword to a child. It cuts not freedom, but life itself. Even today, you can see the echo. Think of how technology advances faster than our hearts. We unlock nuclear fire but struggle to keep peace. We map the human genome but argue over whether to reshape life itself. We create AI that thinks like us, but we have not learned to treat each other with love. Just as the Watchers gave forbidden knowledge, we too stand on the edge of wisdom that could heal or destroy. The lesson is timeless. Knowledge without character is chaos. Yet there is beauty in the warning. The Bible's storytelling style shows us not only judgment, but mercy. The very fact these secrets were revealed means we are called to wrestle with them. Perhaps the path of healing is learning to hold knowledge with humility, to let wisdom lead science, and to let compassion hold power in check. If you are listening now, think of your own life. What knowledge have you been given, through pain, through experience, that you are tempted to misuse? Comment your thoughts, because your reflection may guide another. This forbidden knowledge did not remain harmless in stories, it bore fruit in flesh. From the union of the Watchers and the daughters of men came beings whose existence shook the earth itself, and this leads us to one of the darkest chapters of ancient memory, the giants, the price of rebellion, giants and chaos unleashed. The offspring of heaven's rebellion were the Nephilim, mighty giants who towered over men. Imagine a race of beings so immense that the ground trembled under their steps, their voices roaring like thunder, their appetites insatiable. They consumed not only food but life itself, devouring animals, crops, and even humanity. The earth groaned under their violence. What began as desire ended as devastation. The Book of Enoch tells us that these giants spread corruption across every corner of creation. They enslaved, they destroyed, they turned brother against brother. Their hunger was not only physical but spiritual. They darkened the hearts of men, filling the world with bloodshed. The Watchers' rebellion had become humanity's nightmare. This was the high price of forbidden knowledge, not enlightenment, but enslavement. Think of it like this. Whenever we choose desire over discipline, whenever power is sought without compassion, giants are born. They may not stand 30 feet tall, but they live in greed, in pride, in violence that devours societies. The Nephilim are symbols of what happens when boundaries are broken and wisdom ignored. This is not just ancient myth, it is a mirror of today. Look at corporations that devour nations, weapons that threaten worlds, addictions that consume souls. These are the giants of our time. Yet even in the darkness, there is a call to rise. The flood that came in Noah's day was not only destruction, but renewal. The Creator's justice was also mercy, cleansing the earth so that life could begin again. The Book of Enoch teaches us that judgment is not the end of hope. It is the pruning of corruption so that truth may grow. The question is, will we learn before our own chaos demands a flood? Here lies the lesson. When we entertain forbidden desires, we may create giants we can no longer control. But when we walk in humility, like Enoch, we carry light instead of shadow. The choice is always before us. And so the story moves forward. From the heavens to the earth, from secrets whispered to chaos unleashed, the stage is set for cosmic war, the battle between angels faithful to light and those bound in chains of rebellion. The Book of Enoch does not end in despair, but in the promise that no darkness is final. The next part reveals the rise of resistance, the celestial conflict that shakes both heaven and earth. The cosmic rebellion, war in the heavens. The Book of Enoch speaks with fire. The heavens themselves were shaken by the rebellion of the Watchers. What began as secret desire on earth ignited into open conflict in the cosmos. The faithful angels, guardians of light, rose against those who betrayed their calling. Imagine the skies torn open, a battlefield of blazing beings, radiant as stars, clashing in a storm of glory and terror. These were not battles of flesh and blood, but of cosmic will, where obedience warred against defiance, where purity of purpose faced the intoxication of pride. The Watchers, once clothed in splendor, now stood as rebels, their brilliance stained with darkness. The faithful ones, led by archangels like Michael and Raphael, struck back with authority, binding those who spread corruption. The imagery is hypnotic, chains forged not of metal, but of divine decree, prisons not beneath stone, but beneath creation itself. The fallen were cast into the abyss, a place Enoch describes as a prison of stars, waiting for the final judgment. This cosmic rebellion reminds us of the unseen war within every heart. Each of us has a heaven and an abyss, a choice to stand with light or surrender to desire. The battlefield of the Watchers mirrors the daily battlefield of our souls. Just as the angels fought for truth, we are called to fight for integrity, compassion, and faith in a world that tempts us to compromise. And here lies the challenge. What rebellion do you still entertain in your own heart? Comment your thoughts, because even acknowledging the battle is part of the victory. The fall of the Watchers was not only recorded as judgment, but as warning. It was proof that even beings of heaven could fall when pride rules. And yet, their imprisonment declared that evil is never final. Rebellion is never ultimate. The Creator still reigns, and justice is never silenced. From cosmic battle, the narrative turns to mystery. The lost book itself, hidden, silenced, yet never truly erased. Lost and forbidden, the hidden Book of Enoch. Why was the Book of Enoch removed from the canon, silenced by councils, buried in dust for centuries? Was it too dangerous? Too revealing, too close to truths the world was not meant to handle? The fact remains, this sacred text survived only in fragments, preserved in Ethiopia, hidden in the Dead Sea Scrolls, whispered through time by those who refused to forget. It is as if the book itself carried a curse and a blessing, knowledge that could heal or destroy depending on the heart that read it. The hiddenness of Enoch's writings creates allure. What other scriptures carry such raw visions of heavenly courts, angelic prisons, and forbidden knowledge? What other ancient words tie together fallen angels, Nephilim giants, and mysteries of the stars? It is little wonder that rulers and priests feared it. Knowledge is power, and power in the wrong hands becomes tyranny. By silencing Enoch, they believed they were protecting humanity. But perhaps they were protecting control. Think of it in modern terms. How often is truth hidden from us, not because we cannot bear it, but because it disrupts the systems built on silence? Whistleblowers silenced, discoveries buried, voices erased. The Book of Enoch is not only a story of angels and stars, it is a symbol of how truth itself can be chained. And yet, like the Watchers' rebellion, truth cannot remain hidden forever. It surfaces, it rises, it calls. And here lies a personal lesson. What truths in your own life have you buried because they were too painful, too dangerous, too heavy to face? Just as the Book of Enoch resurfaced, so too will the hidden things of the heart. The act of bringing them to light is not destruction, it is healing. Knowledge of self, however forbidden it feels, is the first step toward freedom. If you have felt that, share it in the comments, because someone may need the courage of your voice to face their own hidden truths. But beyond personal healing, the survival of this book whispers of something cosmic. Could it be that Enoch's words connect us to a greater mystery? That his visions align with what modern science, astronomy, and even UFO theories now point toward? And this opens the door to a question humanity cannot escape. Was Enoch seeing angels, or was he recording contact with beings from the stars? Star knowledge. Wisdom from beyond. When Enoch described the heavens, he spoke with a language that feels timeless, even futuristic. He charted the courses of the sun and moon with precision. He recorded the movements of stars as if guided by technology far beyond his era. He detailed dimensions, gateways, and cosmic laws. Scholars wonder, was this purely revelation from heaven, or evidence of contact with extraterrestrial intelligences cloaked in the language of faith? The parallels are striking. Watchers descending from the heavens resemble descriptions of ancient astronauts. The Nephilim, hybrid beings born of heaven and earth, mirror modern discussions of genetic manipulation and alien DNA. The forbidden knowledge, astrology, metallurgy, enchantments, echoes the sudden leaps of human civilization. Could it be that the Book of Enoch preserves the earliest record of humanity's encounter with beings from the stars? Yet the deeper truth is this: whether angelic or extraterrestrial, the lesson is the same. Knowledge without wisdom destroys. Power without humility corrupts. The star knowledge was never meant to be worshipped. It was meant to point us back to the Creator, to remind us that all wisdom flows from the source of light. Think of the night sky above you. Each star burns with mystery. Each galaxy calls to the spirit within. You, like Enoch, are meant to wonder, to seek, to rise. The question is not only, are we alone, but what do we do with the knowledge we are given? That is the question that decides whether humanity becomes like the Watchers in rebellion, or like Enoch in faith. So let this star knowledge heal you, not frighten you. Let it awaken the part of you that longs for truth, for destiny, for eternity. And as you ponder this, share your heart. Do you believe the Book of Enoch speaks of angels, or of beings from other worlds? Comment below, because this conversation is not just history, it is the unfolding of our future. And from this point, the story moves toward its most powerful truth. Not only what was lost, but what still waits to be revealed, the hope beyond judgment, the promise beyond forbidden knowledge. The Book of Enoch leaves us with a haunting silence, a silence filled with secrets that once shook the heavens and the earth. We have walked through the visions of the Watchers, the fallen angels who descended with forbidden knowledge, through the terror of the Nephilim giants who nearly devoured creation, and into the mystery of the star knowledge that still echoes in our skies today. These are not just ancient myths, they are mirrors reflecting back the deepest struggles of the human soul. Every page of the Book of Enoch whispers that the greatest battle is not only in the heavens, but within us, in the choices we make when faced with desire, power, and the thirst for knowledge. What strikes the heart most is how timeless this story feels. Thousands of years ago, humanity was given knowledge it could not handle, and chaos followed. Today, we live in a world where knowledge is exploding faster than our hearts can grow. We hold in our hands the power to heal or to destroy, to create or to consume. The forbidden knowledge that once came from the Watchers now arrives through science, technology, and discoveries that touch the very fabric of life itself. The question is not whether knowledge is good or evil. The question is whether our souls are ready to hold it with wisdom. Enoch's life was proof that even in a world drowning in corruption, a single soul walking in light could be lifted into eternity. He was not remembered for wealth, for armies, or for monuments. He was remembered because he walked with God, he carried truth, and he became a bridge between heaven and earth. That is why his book still matters. That is why the Book of Enoch still draws seekers from every generation, because it reminds us that the universe is larger than we imagine, that angels and stars and mysteries are not far from us. They are within reach when our hearts are open. If the Watchers teach us anything, it is that power without love corrupts. If the Nephilim teach us anything, it is that desire without restraint devours. If Enoch teaches us anything, it is that humility brings light, and light leads to life. The Book of Enoch is not a call to fear forbidden knowledge. It is a call to transform it, to let knowledge serve compassion, to let wisdom rule over desire. That is the healing hidden in the pages, the message meant not only for the ancient world, but for us, here, now. Close your eyes for a moment and picture the night sky. The stars above you burn with a brilliance older than empires, older than kings, older than your very breath. The same stars that Enoch gazed upon, the same heavens where the Watchers fell, are still above you. When you look up, do you see random lights? Or do you see a message written across eternity, calling you to wonder, calling you to rise, calling you to remember that you are not just dust, but spirit, created to carry light? This is why we cannot let the Book of Enoch remain forgotten. This is why its secrets must be told again, because it speaks to our generation as urgently as it did to his. It asks us whether we will repeat the mistakes of the fallen angels, or whether we will learn from their fall and walk a different path. It asks us whether we will feed the giants of greed, violence, and fear, or whether we will starve them and choose the way of faith, courage, and love. It asks us whether we will stay silent, or whether we will open our hearts and step into the light of wisdom that heals instead of harms. And here is where your voice matters. Do you believe the Watchers were truly angels cast down from heaven, or were they beings from the stars, extraterrestrial messengers cloaked in the language of faith? Do you see the Nephilim as real giants, or as symbols of the corruption that swallows societies even today? Your thoughts are not just opinions, they are pieces of the puzzle, sparks that keep the conversation alive. Comment below what you believe, because every perspective draws us closer to understanding the truth hidden between heaven and earth. If you have felt a stirring in your soul as these words unfolded, if the mysteries of the Book of Enoch have awakened something deep inside you, let that light stay alive. Subscribe so we can continue uncovering the forbidden books, the hidden scriptures, the ancient truths that still pulse with power. Like this video, if it has brought you closer to wonder, to healing, to hope. And if you feel this message carried value into your heart, I invite you, support in any way you can, even a little. Every gesture, every act of kindness, every ounce of energy you give helps me continue creating these videos, sharing these mysteries, and spreading the light of Scripture that can heal a broken world. Even the smallest gift is priceless to me, because it comes from your heart. Thank you, with all my heart, for being part of this journey. The Book of Enoch reminds us that the story is not finished. We are still writing it with our choices, with our courage, with our faith. The heavens still look down, the stars still shine, the mysteries still call. And just as Enoch walked with God and was lifted beyond death, so too can we walk with the eternal, rise beyond the chains of fear, and step into the destiny for which we were created. The lost secrets of Enoch are not lost at all. They live when we choose to live by their lesson. And that lesson is simple yet eternal. Walk in the light, guard your heart, let knowledge serve love, and never forget, you were made for the stars.